And if you're anything like me, sometimes it just can get so overwhelming. It feels like you have like 1,000 tabs open on your computer and you just don't know which one to start with. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't, and go ahead and leave a comment or a question. My goal is to respond to every comment. Okay, today's video is going to focus on 5 simple ways that you can de stress your life. That is one thing that everybody can relate on. We all have stress. And a lot of times we get to a point in our life where we're so stressed and we just wonder, okay, where do I start? And if you're anything like me, sometimes it just can get so overwhelming. It feels like you have like 1,000 tabs open on your computer and you just don't know which one to start with. And you want to get to a place where you feel like, okay, when I get this stressed, I can find a place to start. And how can I, do things in my life to where I won't get that stressed again? Sometimes certain seasons of life are more stressful than others and we can't help it. But a lot of times, the way that we handle things in our life can lead to what level of stress we're going to have. So, this is going to affect your mental health, emotional health, and your physical health because we know that when stress is increased in your body, it releases that cortisol and other bad hormones into your body. And it doesn't allow you to be 100% yourself and perform at your highest level. And you just don't feel good. Okay, number 1 is to establish a basic routine. That is something I know that can be difficult for some people, especially depending on what your life is like, or maybe you have a job that doesn't have a set schedule every week, and that can be kind of difficult. But find one part of your life or your day, your week that you can establish a routine and make that something that you really set yourself to. Another thing that you can do is set a time a day that you do self-care. For people of faith, really make a time to spend time with God. Spend time in your daily devotions and make that be a daily thing. Depending on your schedule, maybe it has to be a different time, but maybe the routine is that you do that daily, or you pick a goal of, I'm going to do that 4 days a week or 5 days a week. That's something that you can put into your schedule. If you can, go to sleep around the same time every night and get up the same time every morning. Developing that routine is not only good for your mental health, but it's also really good for your physical health, and it can decrease the stress in your body. Also, mentally, providing a structured schedule really gives you stability. It mentally tells you that I can kind of rely on something. I can have that stability and structure of the day. This is why children thrive so much on structure and having predictability. Now, I'm not saying get really rigid. Let's have flexibility. It sometimes feels better for certain personality types to have some flexibility in their schedule and their routine. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying have a super rigid schedule and stick to that all the time, but developing some type of routine. Maybe you're somebody who's like, I have no routine and it's really stressing me out. So developing some type of routine can be a really helpful thing to decrease the stress in your life. All right, number 2, adding regular exercise. This is so important. This is something that is healthy for all of us. Now, what our exercise is will look different for every person. For some people, they're going to do something more high impact, some people more low impact. Some people go to a gym, some people just have, at home. Some people are not able to be as active as others. So, depending on where you are, don't be discouraged. Just pick whatever is healthy for you. Physiologically, exercise is also a stress reliever because we know it releases endorphins in our body, which is actually a stress relieving hormone. You want it to be something that you can actually stick to so that it becomes a regular part of your routine and it becomes something that's actually helpful for you instead of something that causes more stress because you're always beating yourself up because you didn't do it. There's a lot of different ways that you can exercise, but making that part of your regular routine, it's just really important for you to find an activity that you enjoy. Some of you may enjoy a sport. Some of you may like to walk or run. Some of you may enjoy lifting weights. A lot of these have different benefits. I am not a, health fitness expert, so definitely talk to somebody who is a professional if you have a lot of questions on what is healthy to do for your body, and you finding a form of exercise that is healthy for your body and making that part of your routine could be a really great way to decrease your stress. All right, number 3 is to practice mindfulness and deep breathing. If you don't know how to be mindful or how to practice deep breathing, go to my mindfulness breathing video and it can guide you through a basic exercise. I'll also be putting out more videos in the future about what mindfulness is and how to practice that, along with some more deep breathing exercises. If you are familiar with this at all, just making that be something that becomes more of a automatic practice, because when you get into a stressful moment, your brain will kind of go on muscle memory and it'll naturally make you go towards doing those deep breathing exercises, being more mindful, noticing what's actually happening in the moment. What is bringing up this stress in my life? Is there something that I'm kind of pulling in from the past, or something that I'm worrying about from the future that's causing more stress? Or is this just currently a really stressful moment and I need to just incorporate some other skills to get through it? But if you are, realizing that I'm pulling in things from the past, or I've got these worries about the future, using those mindfulness skills to notice that, not judge it, but realize you can put those in the proper place and maybe deal with those in the proper way. But in that moment, focus on what's in the here and now and really relieve your stress by noticing what's going on in the moment and dealing with that instead of having to deal with the weight of everything else. It's kind of like the bucket mentality. Imagine your emotions are like a bucket. A lot of us are pretty full all the time. We got a lot on our plate. And then if you're pouring in things from the past and pouring in these fears of the future, you're going to be overflowing. You're going to feel like your stress is just off the charts. But if you can pour that out, put those into those proper places and deal with those in appropriate time, whether that's, journaling or talking with someone or going to counseling or doing whatever else to deal with that, then you can focus on the moment and your bucket doesn't feel so full. That stress isn't going to be overflowing as much. All right, number 4 is to set realistic goals. This kind of ties into some of the other ones. You want to set a realistic goal for yourself in your routine, in your exercise, and in your mindfulness. You don't want to judge yourself or be too harsh on yourself, because it will make you want to crash or just give up. If you can break things down into smaller, achievable tasks, it can be really helpful. Again, depending on your personality, if you're like me, it's very easy to have a lot of things going at once and to kind of dive into maybe too many things and get in over your head. So a lot of times, if you can set yourself maybe timers, maybe, get a timer, set yourself a 5, 10, 30-minute timer, depending on what you're doing, and focus on that one task until it's done. Another thing that can be helpful is writing out a list of all the things that you feel like are expectations or goals for yourself, and really looking at that, and maybe even using a trusted person to help you to look at that and see, are these goals realistic for me today, this week, this month, this year? Kind of what are realistic timelines to those? And then what are the most important, in ordering that and focusing in on that. A lot of times, putting a visual to it, like writing it down in an agenda or writing on a list, can help you prioritize it and break down your goals into more realistic goals. And having loved ones in your life or other people to kind of help you see also what is realistic for you can help you really battle those feelings of inadequacy and just overall stress. A lot of times we are putting unrealistic goals in front of us. And maybe if the goals are realistic, but then you're able to see that there's other barriers I'm putting in the way. And then we realize that, okay, maybe it's not that I'm just inadequate, but I need to cut some things out in order to meet these realistic goals. So celebrate those small achievements along the way and set those healthy, realistic goals. All right, number 5, connecting with others. Having social support is so crucial in managing stress. That is something that a lot of people undervalue when they're stressed. We tend to isolate ourselves and pull away from people when we're really stressed. There is a lot of benefits to the culture in the United States, but one of the negatives is that we tend to be individualistic and we do not want to reach out to others for help. So often when we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, we don't connect with others. And that's the time that we really need others the most. It can be really helpful to share our thoughts and feelings with those that we trust when we're really stressed. That can be a great stress reliever, just being able to share it with a healthy, trusted person, someone who's going to listen, but give you good support and help you maybe see the positive side of things, or help you actually come up with good, realistic ways to meet those goals or to kind of get out of the slump that you're in. So having that support system can really be someone who can bring you comfort, but also maybe give you different perspectives that you need during that hard time. So if you're somebody who's like, okay, this is the problem. I can't connect with other people. I have a lot of anxiety. I feel isolated because I don't know how to reach out. I don't know how to make friends. Or every time I do reach out, I feel just way too nervous or way too embarrassed to admit how I'm feeling to people. You just maybe don't know how to connect in that way. I want you to look in the description of this video and you can find out more about my self and social confidence course. It might be a good fit for you if you are that person who feels like you have a hard time overthinking your social interactions and you're having a difficult time connecting with people. Or when you do connect with people, you just find yourself being really drained after, overthinking it, and really feeling insecure and worried about how that interaction went. So if that fits you, go to the description, find out about my self and social confidence course, and go ahead, like and subscribe this video, send me a comment. I will respond to it. And I hope these tips help you to decrease the stress in your life.